Take you to the Union Buildings in Pretoria, where the South African Police Service is this morning honouring fallen police officers at its annual commemoration day. 27 men and women in blue died in the line of duty between April of 2024 and March this year. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is there and joins us for an update. Nqobile, you have some of the family members with you this morning.
Yes, indeed, Katlego, who are about to give us just the tragic stories that they've been going through with the pain. We understand at the moment that one of the youngest children that have been left behind by some of these officers is actually just 7-month-old baby. This is how difficult it has been for many families. So I wanted to start here with this gentleman, because I understand that your brother was one of the youngest officers that passed away on duty. What happened?
Yeah, one day he was on duty, like he started in the morning. He was supposed to end his shift later at 6 o'clock. But suddenly, later when he was supposed to come back home, that was the day when we never even saw him anymore, because it was his last day. So he died on duty. He was shot. We got the message with the other colleagues when they come back to report it to us. Yeah, it came like a shock, It is a shock actually, because even today we still don't believe he's gone. But unfortunately he is. So something as the family were trying to deal with.
Can you tell us a bit about who he was and how are you as a family dealing with this currently?
Well, being a certain broken family, I won't lie to you, it's very difficult, especially my mom's side. She's tend to be someone she was not. She's unhealthy. Sometimes she falls. She falls alone when she tries maybe to go to the toilet or maybe try to do something. She can't just stand up quick. She's very weak, and she's going to a doctor, I think, each and every month, if I'm not mistaken, because she's also an older lady, so she's like, everything is so difficult for her ever since. So Mojalifa used to be, he was the last born at home, out of the sister and 3 brothers. We were like 5. He's the youngest of us. He was like still a little baby to us. But being that baby, he was also a breadwinner. And then he was like someone we could look up to, because he had too much advice. He was so loving and fulfilling. You can't come to him with a problem and then you turn and go without being assisted. He was a very warm kind of person. Even in the same zone where we used to live, in the community, they used to like him so much. Sometimes I even told him, because even the youngsters used to come to him with their homeworks and stuff. He would help them, like even with their books and stuff. So he was like more of a community person.
All right, working for the community as well. And I understand, ma'am, that you lost your husband. Take me through that day when you got the call.
It happened on the 16th of Feb this year, on a Sunday morning. Like usual, you thought you're going through your normal Sunday morning, doing washing and all that. And we received a call from a friend that Fant was shot. So I was dressed halfway. I just couldn't close, and we rushed to the hospital. I even climbed high pavements with my car. Never knew I can do. But when we got to the hospital, they said to us he didn't make it. And we rushed into the hospital emergency unit. And when we saw him, we just thought, no, it can't be. And we just said, please just bring him back. Because I never knew that his life will be taken so early. He's left behind his 2 sons, his mother, his brother, his sister, his other family, mother-in-law. So it is hard, if it wasn't for the reverend that was standing by us since that day until now, it's hard. And every day, the reality hasn't kicked in. We miss him so much. Day in and day out, I say, no, he's going to walk into this door. Like on Fridays, we worked at home during COVID, and until now, every Friday at a certain time, he walked into the house and no more. It's hard, and we miss him so much.
And I know it's very difficult, but I want to just ask you, what would you say when you remember him? You remember him as?
Fant joined the police in 1993 at the age of 19. He was a dedicated police officer. He loved his work. He had the passion. And he had so many goals. Like, he had even, I think it was called the Purple Star, that he went out of his way and he went to save a civilian in a dam. He was one of those policemen that went out of his ways for his community, for his children. Yeah, he was a very, very good man.
And you, ma'am, lost your father. Take me through what happened then when you found out.
So on that day, he passed on the 17th April 2024. I'm an educator, so on that day I was in class. Usual, normal day at school, and I got a call from my mom's colleague. She just called to find out where I am and that she wants to pick me up. And automatically that made me feel a certain way. At that time I didn't think it was my dad, but I thought it was my mom because she called me from my mom's phone. When she picked me up, I kept on asking what was wrong, and along the way she stopped the car and gave me the news, and I think that's where everything just broke inside of me. But in the same time, I was thinking of my siblings because I'm the eldest of 3 kids. I've got a younger brother and sister. My brother was at work at the time, and my sister she's in matric this year, so she was at school, and we had to fetch her as well. And at that moment, I just thought I need to be strong because I know my mom is not at that moment. She lost her best friend and pillar of strength. So when we had to break the news to my sister and my brother, I think that was the most difficult for me because I had to automatically step in and be the strong one. So it was quite difficult. When we reached my mom, she was broken. And going to the scene as well with my family was the worst, as we did not want to see my dad like that, but instead remember him as who he was, as when we saw him the previous day or the morning. So we just wanted to remember that, but I remember the whole town, not just us. And I think that's what we learned out of this, is that the loss was just not ours, but instead the whole community. Because if I remember back or recall back, the entire community of Atlantis was broken. There was just something different in the air that day.
What had happened to your dad?
So he was called out, himself and his colleague, called out on a domestic violence complaint in Momri, and there was a situation between a brother and a sister, and what led to an altercation between my dad and the brother. And this is where he took my dad's pistol and then shot him in the side. So I don't actually want to go back and recall all the details, but that's ultimately, in a nutshell, what has happened. So yes.
Sorry about your loss. And perhaps as we close, what's very important, Katleho, is as you see the chaplain, they comforting the families. These are the people that will go to each and family to give them their support, to give them the counseling. It's obviously been very difficult for these families to lose their breadwinners, their fathers, the husband, and even a brother. You know, it's been very difficult for them, but we know that SAPS, even though at the moment we can't speak directly to the chaplains, we know that this is their supporting system, this is their counseling system, and this is what continues to, these are the people that continues to support the families throughout. But you can see already that it's very difficult to have lost those men in blue during their time of work, attending to the problems that South Africans are dealing with.